I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. Well, actually, I'm a little bit early. The Netflix original series, Alice in Borderland, is coming out soon, but I wanted to get a hop on it and give you my thoughts now. A group of friends suddenly find themselves in a strange, emptied-out version of Tokyo, where they are forced to participate in dangerous games in order to survive. This series is awesome. We spend the first part of episode 1 just getting to know our characters. I mean, we follow them and we get to just see how they interact with each other, and it focuses first on 3 of the characters, and they seem like they wouldn't get along. They seem from wildly different backgrounds, different paths, different even ideals and goals, but yet they're the best of friends. And so they're hanging out in Tokyo and causing some mischief, and they run off, and then all of a sudden some lights flicker and they step out and it's deserted. So now the world has gone wonky and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and they have to participate in some really twisted games. This series has a good mix of drama, humor, chills, thrills, action, and violence. And they all intertwine to create a really compelling story. I love that as we go deeper in this story, or down the rabbit hole, if you will, that so many questions arise from the series. What's going on? What's the point of these games? Who's controlling it, or who's in charge of them? What's the goal? And is there a final outcome? The aesthetics in this series are a lot of fun. I mean, it takes place mainly in Tokyo, and I love how at times we have it deserted. And that's a feat in and of itself. But then as the lights go out, as the sun sets and the city becomes dark, when it's time for a game to begin, different portions of the city light up, drawing the contestants to where they're to go. And a lot of the games are kind of more like riddles or puzzles, so it's not simply an A to B type of thing. And they are a lot of fun and tense. I mean, each scenario tests our characters too, emotionally, mentally, physically. I mean, it really is a powerful concept that you have a series that is based on challenging events where it matters, where it's not just feats of skill and you walk away with $1 million. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. We haven't seen the end. But each of these episodes, they test the mettle of the characters, and they are so wrought with tension and even with some urgency. Actually, a lot of urgency. But there's a lot of heart in this as well. I mean, there are some very emotional moments to the story. And I found myself sucked into the characters really quickly and really easily. They became people that I was just able to root for almost right off the bat. While I was engaged in the show, when I hit episode 3 and it ended, I couldn't continue to hit next episode fast enough to watch the next one and the next one and the next one. I mean, I was salivating with what was coming next. The story was grabbing hold of me and just drawing me in because I'm getting to know these characters. They're put up against these amazing feats of skill or challenges or just things that will test them mentally and physically. And then the quality of the characters themselves, and to see their struggles and to see them interact and just see all of that they go through. And it's not all happiness, obviously, I mean, because these are challenges that are meant to test people, but we also get to see the dissolution, I guess maybe, of some of their ideals, to watch the rise and the fall of ego, of strength, and where strength doesn't always matter, which then means that anybody could actually win a game. If strength doesn't matter, or speed doesn't matter, or agility doesn't matter all the time, sometimes it's cunning, sometimes it's your mind, sometimes it's your ability to see things that other people can't see and put them together. All of these things come into play, and I love that the game is up to anybody. This being a riff off of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, there are themes of the book that tie in with the themes of the episodes. I mean, these in the show are a bit more twisted and, of course, made for the modern age. But it's still really cool to see how they tie in subtly so that it really does create a tie to the novel. The pace at the beginning is very urgent, and then it slows a little bit as the season continues. Now, I'm not saying that it's slow by any means. It just begins to take a little bit of a breather. There is still urgency within each of the episodes, but as a whole, you feel it kind of take a step back just a little bit so that we can focus now on more of the characters, more of the story, and some of the deeper mysteries that are going on. And those thrills and that mystery is very engaging. And while it may annoy some people when season 1 ends, I absolutely loved it. We get a little bit of answers, some answers to a lot of the questions that have been raised, but it also then raises more questions and leaves a bunch unanswered. And I liken that a little bit to when I was watching Lost for the very first time. When that first season ended, I had some minor answers here and there, but what it did is raise a whole bunch more questions. And that just then enthralled me even more. It hooked me in so much where I'm like, I can't wait now for season 2. What the heck? How long do I have to wait? Oh goodness, it better come fast. I want to say a huge thanks to Netflix for letting me screen this early. It comes out on December 10th, and oh my goodness, it is so worth the watch. The characters are so incredible. The mix of characters that we have, and then you combine that with a really interesting, really engaging and enthralling story that is both times thrilling, mysterious, heartbreaking, and just aggravating and totally exciting. I mean, all of those rolled into one. Each of the 8 episodes are about 50 minutes, and my guess is once you start, you're going to binge it from start to finish. That's what I did. There is sex, nudity, profanity, and a lot of violence. I give season 1 of Alice in Borderland 5 out of 5 couches. Has this one been on your radar? Have you been looking forward to it, or have you already seen it now, depending on when you're watching this review? But what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.